Well, hello. This is the Bearded Wonder Zane Paisley. I am joined this week by Sign Guy. Sign Guy, how are you this evening?
Not doing badly this week.
Excellent, excellent. And we've got from the awesome Carolina area, one of our favorites, the incredible Huck, Will Huckabee. How are you tonight, Huck?
I know I always say I'm super excited about every week. I'm super excited about all of our interviews and all of our guests. But I'm beyond excited about the interviews that we're doing tonight. I'm so pumped. I'm so hyped. I'm so ready for tonight.
Well, excellent. Let's go ahead and get started then. Making his return to the Undisputed Wrestling Show, the five-time WCW World Tag Team Champion, member of the NWO, Buff the Stuff Bagwell. Buff, how are you doing this evening?
What's going on? What's up?
Well, we are super excited to have you on. The last time that you were on, you talked to us about your Q ratings. How are your Q ratings doing right now?
Come on, I'd give anything to be looking at that Q rating sheet again. That would mean I would be making a bunch of money and WCW would still be here. Wow, the good old days.
Well, so what are you doing right this minute? Where are you at home? Are you at the gym? What's going on?
I'm at home, actually. I'm at home, and I just actually, believe it or not, I've been really, really swamped. I actually had a complete, I didn't even know they did this, but I had a complete shoulder replacement. And my shoulder's been bothering me for a while, and you know, everybody's shoulders bother them. I think everybody's hurts or whatever, but still, it was just killing me. And so my left one, I got the MRI done, and my left one was sore. So I was trying to baby it back and get it back, and all of a sudden my right one started bothering me, and it went from hurting to like killing me. So I went to the doctor. I said, "Hey, what's my options?" And he goes, "You don't have any options." I go, "Well, what do you mean I don't have any options?" He goes, "Bro, you've got no ligaments. No, you have no ligament or tendon. My bones, I can't do, was bone on bone. So they had to go in and saw my bone off and replace it like a hip replacement. And I am 9 months into it, and I'm about 50%. I still can wrestle. I can, get to a match and stuff, but it's really hard to get, workouts in. How I possibly have even stayed in decent shape is amazing, because it's been really, really hard on me, bro. And right in the middle of that, my damn hip started hurting, and I had a hip replacement. So 26 years of nothing but one accidental broken neck. And then I get a hip replacement and a shoulder replacement in a 6-month period. So I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So the hip replacement, unfortunately, went fantastic, and everything's great. But my shoulder has been real slow, man. It's been they say a year, but it's been 9 months, and it's going to take a little longer than a year.
So are you full of titanium then now?
I am, bro. I go through the airport. I mean, I got like a special line I got to go through. I'm over with like all the 90. I just go through a wheelchair now. I call for a wheelchair and just go right through with the wheelchair. I'm like, everybody else is like 80, and I'm like 45 going through with a wheelchair going through security. If you just FYI, if you ask for a wheelchair at the airport, you do not have to have a doctor's note. You do not have to have any information. They just come and get you. So one day at Atlanta Airport, I've never seen Atlanta Airport like this. It was just mayhem. And I didn't know what I just said. I didn't know you could get a wheelchair. I didn't know that. This is about 6 months ago. And I was like, dude, I finally got a set of eyes to look at me. And it was this girl. And I said, please tell me what is going on. She goes, we don't know. It's just a real busy day. This is when the Atlanta airport was on the news. It was crazy line, the security, and all the TSA stuff was going on. It was just mayhem. And this girl goes, wait right here. She comes back with a wheelchair, and I'm to my gate in 10 minutes. So the next morning, of course, I'm going, wait a minute, tell me how I did this. You have to have a doctor's note. I'm trying to learn about how to do this every time now. So I'm going, wait a minute. I mean, I don't got to have a note. You just sure don't. Well, Well, I tried the next time. It was real busy, and when I got there, you do got to kind of wait, and it comes in what order it comes in, and the person that takes you, it becomes a little bit of a hassle. But the following morning of me doing this, I'm at the counter, and it made my day so easy. I just said, "Hey, I need to get a wheelchair." I said, "I just had hip surgery, and I hadn't had it yet. It was just killing me." And she said, "Okay, just wait right there." I said, "No problem." And then I realized, like an idiot, it was 6 a.m. There was somebody there at the airport. So I go, you know what? My hips aren't that bad today. I'm just going to walk. She goes, "Now that you've told me that, you can't cancel it." And I went, "Okay, no problem with me." So they wheeled right up and got me in the wheelchair, and off I went again. So I was like, "You got to be shitting me." So if you ever get in a bind, go the wheelchair route, brother. It's a for sure make it to the gate.
Well, hey, can you tell a lot of our listeners that aren't pro wrestlers, and certainly don't, even the wrestlers that do listen might not keep the same schedule as you. Can you tell us about, the difference between traveling on the independent circuit and traveling with big companies?
And actually, believe it or not, it's a lot more days you have when you work for the bigger company, but it's much more organized. So you do what's called a loop. So you would, for example, if you didn't live in Atlanta, or let's say you fly into Atlanta, you get a hotel in Atlanta. You base out of Atlanta. So you got the same gym in Atlanta. You got the same meals, the same restaurants. You learn the area a little bit if you're not from there. So you base out of there. And then on Thursday night, you got Augusta. So you drive to Augusta, back to your hotel. And then Friday night, you go to Birmingham. You go to Birmingham, you wrestle, and you come back. And then maybe Sunday, you got a Sunday show. You go from there to Dalton, Georgia, and you come back to Atlanta, and then you fly out and go to Nitro, or back in the old days, you were just off on Monday. And that's called a loop. And it's much easier. Nowadays, I work for 100 different guys. So I've got to sit down on my calendar and make it all make sense on how to get from this promoter to this promoter, and using tickets. And if I booked this ticket before and he already bought the ticket, how can I get that ticket switched? And it's a lot tougher, believe it or not, in the independent circuit, because it's just, you're dealing with different people, and it's just harder when instead you're just handed your itinerary. And yeah, it's 300 days a year, but you know where you're going. You know you've got the system down. Everybody travels. You got the workout car, you got the drunk car, you got the pothead car, you got the pillhead car, and you just get in whichever car, whichever group you're in. And you go do it. If you travel with me and Lex, you were going to train. So there was a lot of guys that didn't go with us, so they didn't want to go work out and stuff. But me and Lex were the car that we trained and tanned and, got things done and stuff. And then, of course, as the years went on, we became the party car. But for many years, we were the workout. We still always worked out no matter what, but it did become the party car toward the end.
Well, Buff, I'm going to plug, before I pass it off to the incredible Will Huckabee, I do want to plug your awesome website, realbuffbagwell.com. Our listeners should definitely check that out, and it's got information on how to book you, and it does talk about your DVD, which we will talk about here before we wrap up. But I am going to pass over to Will Huckabee. Will, what do you have for Marcus Alexander Bagwell?
Well, first of all, Buff, thank you very much for being a guest on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, bro.
No problem. I'm pretty sure you'll remember, we worked the show together in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. It was you and Ricky Morton were the headline attractions and stuff. And my little girl met you at intermission and stuff and took a picture with you and stuff during intermission.
Fantastic.
And besides her pictures with Cedric Alexander, your picture is featured very prominently on her bedroom wall. That was one of the highlights of her young life. That's great.
I've only wrestled there twice, so I know I'm fairly familiar with. I got a very good memory about the road because I don't know what it is. I've got a very good memory, period. But Elizabeth City, I've only been there twice because I remember I drove it one time and was like, oh, my God. When I heard North Carolina, I thought North Carolina. I didn't know it was almost in Virginia. And the other time I flew into Norfolk. And I say 2 times. It may have been 3 I wrestled there. But it's been 2 or 3 times. So I really enjoyed that crowd. It was always a good crowd. It's a good place because it's kind of out of Norfolk's reach. So it always draws real good. And one time a cop brought me. So I flew in and I pulled up in a cop car. And of course, of all things, there's Buck Bagwell pulling up in a cop car, I'm like, oh, God. Go figure, Buck. He's up and now he's cuffed.
Well, okay, so my first question is this, because everybody knows that you're a Georgia boy and stuff, born and raised in Georgia and stuff, and I wrestle very often, very, very frequently in Georgia, Atlanta, Cornelia, et cetera, et cetera. With the new match that just got released this week, the last Battle of Atlanta, what is your opinion on wrestling in Atlanta, especially independent wrestling, and how it's making such a great comeback?
What's weird is I don't even get it. It really blows my mind, but Georgia is probably the least I work. And here's where I live, where I'm from, and maybe that's why. I don't know, but I stay the least busy in Georgia. And that just blows my mind that it's like that because, I'm right here. I'm driving distance. I remember even back in the day when TNA was out, I'm thinking, TNA is at the Gwinnett Center. And if you hate me, love me, anything, why wouldn't you just call me and book me for the night and beat me in the middle? Who cares? Just put him on TV and beat him up. But it just blew my mind that I was just a couple of miles away and couldn't even get a booking. But I don't get booked a lot in Georgia. I just recently hooked up with Georgia Premier Wrestling, and these guys are really good. They're really super nice. And I did a show for them that did really well. And the guys are really good. They're a really good independent group. And they're right in Canton, Georgia, just a couple weeks ago. But I hear about a lot of shows going on, but I really don't know a whole lot about, the Georgia wrestling. There was, I don't really know a lot about the groups and stuff. I really don't. The one you're talking about that has such a good turnout or something. What was their name again?
Down in Georgia, AWE, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. But I think one of the biggest
who's their headliners?
Jimmy Rave, Chip Day, Murder One, Iceberg.
Murder One's a really good guy. I like him a lot. I've had a chance to wrestle him a couple of times. Real good guy. And he can work. He's a real good worker too. I've worked him a couple of times, but those other names I'm not too familiar with. But so they have a certain place they run out of, or they kind of do loops for different cities.
They basically run out of Atlanta and stuff. Right there at the I can't remember the name of it now. There's a pub right there in the middle of downtown Atlanta and stuff. But they ran there. They used to run on Spring Street. Yes, they ran the Masquerade. They used to run on Spring Street.
I've done that once before. I ran the Masquerade years ago they had a really big show there one night. I did the Masquerade for them there, but it's actually a big old building too. It's actually used to be one of the hottest clubs here, but I just really don't see very busy in Atlanta. The further I go away from home, the better I do for the promoter and for myself.
Well, I understand that. My next question was going to be, cause nowadays, especially if you keep up with WWE, New Japan, and everything. It almost seems like the territory days are not so much coming back, but guys are starting to get into that territory where they're going from one company to another, and now WWE is starting to recognize the achievements of wrestlers away from WWE. What do you attribute that to?
I think it's really good. Like, I thought it was fantastic to see AJ go to WWE, for example, because when he did, it just brought back some reality again of, gosh, man, we We had a bunch of good guys at WCW, dude. Why ain't they using none of us? You know? And it just kind of blows my mind. If it don't work, then, I mean, I remember the last time I talked to WWE, I called them up and I said, listen, it was Johnny Ace. I said, I got an idea. I said, I need 2 minutes of your time. This was probably 2007 was from the last time I talked to them. And I called him up and I said, Johnny, here's the deal. So let's do this. I said, let me come up. I said, I'll just pay for the airplane. I said, pay for the air flight. I said, I'll pay for my own hotel. I'll pay for my own room. You guys don't even have to. I'm actually lying. Let me take it back. I take it back. I said, you pay for the room. You pay for the rental car. Pay for the airfare. But I do not want to die. I said, let me come up a week, 2 weeks, 3 days, whatever y'all want. Take a look at me. If you like what you see, you've invested maybe $1,000 and you hire me, or you tell me to go home. What harm could that do? And I remember him over the phone saying something to me that I was just starting to hear in the indie locker rooms a little bit. And it was, we don't have a storyline for you. And I just went, oh my God, I'm actually getting told what everybody's getting told now. And I went, Johnny, sorry to bother you, buddy. Have a good day. And it's the last time I talked to him. I was like, wow, dude, we don't have a storyline for you. I've been Scott Steiner. I've been Jamaican. I've been black on TV. I've been white on TV. I'm a 5-time world champion with 5 different guys. And you can't find a storyline for me, then you are in trouble. But to actually say what everybody else was kind of getting told was it cut like a knife, brother. It cut deep. And I was like, whoa, man, wow. But I just at the end, I just went, okay, buddy, thank you. You know, and I hung the phone up and I almost shut it up. I was like, wow. I'd almost rather him just said, you know, F off and actually give me we don't have a storyline for you, you know. Here's 11-year career of nothing but really, really, you know, good stuff that I feel like I gave everybody. And, you know, give them my all and, you know, dependable and there and healthy and never hurt. And even when I broke my neck, I was back on TV in 3 months and back in the ring in 10. And, you know, just you know, a solid talent, dude, that, you know, Vince fired in 2 weeks and it was over. You know, it was like, wait a minute, I just got fired. And of course they called it release. I'm not sure I'm still trying to figure the difference out, but they called it release.
Now, now with that being said, like that was your experience talking to Johnny Ace, like you just told us and stuff. Do you think that that's the difference between having a creative team and having an actual booker? Because I'm very sure, you know, doing the show and talking to a lot of vets and stuff with your experience, the mark of a good booker is being able to find a spot for everybody, no matter how big or how small and stuff. You can always work somebody in. Do you think that now that most wrestling companies, the most bigger wrestling companies, have a creative team that's stifled the growth of professional wrestling?
I definitely do. I think, you know, when the creative team, like when Vince Russo first came in with us, you know, his biggest thing was he said, I'm never going to be on television. Never. So, you know, it was his big deal. He wasn't going to be on TV. He was going to do his thing. He was going to be because we're the stars. He's not the star, and you know all that. And so we're, you know, okay, we're buying in, we're doing it and everything. And they have a creative team, and they come to us, and they would talk to us and ask us questions. And it was a creative team. It was a team effort. You know, it was better. And all of a sudden, man, it got less and less talking to the guys. And all of a sudden, it went from him not on TV to he had a baseball bat beating everybody up to he was the all-world champion. So it just gets out of hand. I don't know what happens with that power trip, but something happens to those guys to where they lose it or something during there. Because you remember the Harris twins. The Harris brothers, they were the ones that were kind of his bodyguards. And it was good TV. It was good stuff. And you heard their voice, you know, you never seen. It was pretty cool. And all of a sudden, here's a 190-pound Italian guy that's never been in the gym beating everybody up. And it just didn't make sense, you know. And all of a sudden, then David Arquette's our world heavyweight champion, and we're like, wait a minute, well, you know. And just let me raise my hand here, and Judy Bagwell was the world tag team champion. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, I didn't ask for that. I didn't tell them that. We came up with the idea of bringing Mother to Columbia when I was turning heel, and it made for a great segment. That's all it was supposed to be. And then it just rolled from there, you know, and it just got bigger and bigger because it worked. But I didn't think it was going to work to where she was going to be the world tag team champion with Rick Steiner. I mean, that's not cool. That don't even make sense, you know. But that's just kind of where it happens, man. And if you say anything, you get heat, you know. I remember there was this one segment, I swear to God, dude. It was during the time I was, you know, supposedly the internet was just shooting me alive, and I was so hard to deal with. And anybody that's ever met me knows that I'm super laid back, super nice to everybody, shake everybody's hand, not because I have to, because I'm genuinely like that. And I remember I had a segment, I had my sheet of paper in front of me, what I had to do that night. And in one segment, like segment 8, I was getting run over by like a semi or something. And then in segment 9, they had me at the talking with the announcers at ringside. And here I'm scared to tell them. So that's the kind of heat I would get. It was like I spoke up and needed to say something to save our company, but I still spoke up. You know, what's my bitch about now? And I'm like, I'm trying to show you guys, you got me getting run over in a truck here, and then I'm at ringside the next segment. That's not possible. And they would fix it, and I was correct, but I got heat. I got heat for it. He's hard to work with. He's hard to deal with. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm trying to help you guys, man. You know, so that was the kind of heat I would get. My mom actually went on the road hearing all these rumors and stuff, and my mom thought she was going to come on the road and see some crazy kid that had just lost all control, and before it was over, I was having to cover her mouth because she was getting me heat because I wasn't doing nothing wrong. I was doing nothing wrong, and like we had this little box, believe it or not, we had to check into. And after our sun planet, by 2 o'clock, some person at WCW, World Championship Wrestling, decided that the problem with a bunch of guys making $500,000 and up, that the problem was not the creative team, not the writers, not the bosses. The problem was we were not on time. Let's be honest again. If you were 201, brother, it was $1,000. Excuse me. It was 500 the first. It was 1,000 the second, and I think the third. I swear to God, I'm not positive. I think the third was fired. It was that intense, brother. And so you can imagine, brother. There's a line for this white box, and they're getting serious. There's $158, and there's $500 or $1,000 on the line. Everybody's like, hey, now hurry up, brother. So it became a fight at the white box line. And it just became, I remember my mom actually going, well, he didn't check in, and he showed up at 2 o'clock, and I'm trying to cover my mom's mouth, like, shut up, be quiet. And so we're going to give me heat, be quiet. You know, so she thought she was on the road and see that I had lost all control from what she'd been hearing. And what she saw was that her son was still being more Bagwell, but just getting the raw end of the deal. And she got mad about it. And I ended up making her shut up not to get us eat.
Wow. Well, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Kevin Sullivan's favorite referee, Sign Guy. Sign Guy, what do you have for our guest tonight?
Well, Mr. Bagwell, you were talking about your mother. She technically would be, I believe, the first ever reverse second generation person to hold a title. I think she held a tag team title and entered the business after you, which, to my knowledge, makes her the first reverse second generation. Did that ever come up from anyone at WCW?
No, it didn't. But let me tell you another thing that never comes up, that I bring up a good bit, and I've never had anybody talk about it. But I like to talk about it like out loud amongst each other here. But I don't think, and to me, this is a really big deal, I think. But I don't ever get credit for it, and I really do think it's worth talking about. I don't think, and I've asked people this before, I'm up for the challenge. I'm not saying I'm 100% sure. I'm asking. But I think I'm the only, and I think it's 6 times. I'm not positive. But I know for a fact it's with 5 different partners. So I'm a world tag team champion, I think 6 times, with 5 different guys. Nobody's ever done that, bro. And that's a pretty big deal. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Scorpio and Del Wilkes wrestle alike?
Not
do you think Scorpio and Lex Luger wrestle alike?
Nope.
Not even close. So do you think Scotty Riggs and Scorpio or Scotty Riggs and Del Wilkes look alike or wrestle alike? No. I had to adapt to make that work. It made me a better wrestler, absolutely. But it never gets talked about, bro, and it kills me. That's a pretty big deal. And I saw a picture the other day, and I don't remember this, but I was World Tag Team Champions with Shane Douglas, too. I got a picture of it. It's me and Shane with the World Tag Team belts on, and we're holding Jeff Jarrett on our shoulders with the World belt on. And it had to be right at the end, brother. I mean, at the very end. Because me and Luke were World Tag Team champs right at the end there, too. And then Sean O'Hara and that other boy Palumbo or somebody beat us at a pay-per-view right after the Panama City thing happened, or the night before Panama City happened. We lost at a pay-per-view in Jacksonville, Florida. Me and Luger did. And the rumor got around that we were going to take a break. Everybody was going to go on like a 6-week break. And we pulled up to Panama City the next day, and we went on a 16-year break.
Now, we go back several years in your career when you first joined WCW. Jesse Ventura used to constantly put not only yourself over on commentary, he would always talk about Sprayberry High School and put them over as a school. Did you ever get told if that helped with their enrollment or the attendance at their football and baseball games?
Believe it or not, I kind of got shunned by them. I remember trying to do like either some kind of wrestling match there. No, it was something else. It was something I needed their help on where I was doing a talk or something. We needed a video with a talk or something. And I remember they actually turned me down. They said, "No, we're not interested," And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And they were like, "No." I can't remember exactly what it was, but no, I never got any kind of justification from that as far as the Sprayberry Yellow Jackets. But, Jesse was always real good to me on the mic.
Now, obviously, since you've been around for quite some time, you've worked with a lot of great minds in the business, a lot of different bookers, a lot of people that just in general had a mind for the business. Who are some of the people that may get overlooked when it comes to having some of the best minds for professional wrestling?
That's real tough, man. That's a toughie because, everybody was in there to, really, every week was a battle on who could, come up with something cool and, who could get to the right people to get it done. I mean, I remember when, me and Scotty were always racing to get to Eric first with our idea. We were in a meeting one night and everybody back there, when me and Scotty started cutting loose with all these great ideas and it working, well, everybody kind of started doing their own thing and started to kind of roll the dice a little bit. So Eric kind of re-corralled how we had a meeting and he said, "Listen," he goes, "Hey, You got to get everything approved. I'll never forget him saying this because I'll never forget the eyes we got. He goes, everybody but Scotty and Mark has got to get approved before doing something. And I looked over, I wanted to get underneath the table because that's just a ton of heat, you know. All the boys are like, oh, so you don't got to get approved, you know. So it was just a bunch of heat there it gave us, not meaning to, but back then it was just a war on, you know, who could get what done and what ideas. And you know, I really think it was more of a team effort. Like me and Scotty were great as a team. We'd get to the building and we would just go for the obvious. I mean, I remember in St. Louis, for example, you know, it was just we get to the building. We weren't smart enough to think of this way out in advance because, A, we didn't know that McGuire was going to, you know, hit the home run the night before. But ironically, he breaks the home run record on a Sunday night, and we're in St. Louis on a Monday. So, no brainer. We go straight, send the runner out, straight get a McGuire jersey, the wig, you know. We go to Eric, he goes, oh my God, that's perfect, you know, do a segment, let's do it. But it was those kind of ideas and getting to the right person to get it done, you know, without getting heat and tiptoeing the right way and walking on the eggshells the right way. Because, you know, and of course, when you do a couple of good ones like that, then they're more up to listening to you. But so it was a lot of great brains, man, but it's just everybody had their own different way. Like, you know, Flair, he just always wanted to call it in the ring, you know, and I like that. If I got a guy that's as good as Flair. But if you ever wrestle me, we're going over this backstage, and we're going to go over it 1,000 times. Because I ain't going out for 20 million people and look stupid. So if you ain't on that page with me, we're not going to get along real good because I'm going to do it real nice. We're going to be real sweet about it, but we're going to go over it a bunch of times. But Rick would always call it out there, you know, and I don't mind that if you got a guy like Ric Flair, if somebody's great as him, you know, I'll do that. But if it's not somehow like Ric Flair, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it a bunch.
Well, I want to thank you for my questions. I'm going to pass him to Zane because he's got a few questions before we wrap this up.
Thank you, brother.
This is the Undisputed Wrestling Show on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. We are talking with Buff the Stuff Bagwell. Buff, I do apologize. I introduced you as a 5-time champion. I did a little more research, and yes, you were 6-time champion. And you had asked if there was anybody else.
I'll let you for sure. Is it really 6?
I'm on your Wikipedia page, which we know that Wikipedia is not always perfect, but on your Wikipedia page it says 5 times. But then when I go to the WCW World Tag Team Championship, it lists you as a 6-time champion. So
I swear to you, I don't remember being world champions with Shane Douglas, and I swear to God to you, I got 8 by 10 of it. And I swear to you, I do. And then we got the belts on. I got it backwards. That's why I went from. Remember for a while there, I went to ball caps that were airbrushed, and I threw them backwards instead of top hats, like for interviews and stuff. I wore like ball caps that were airbrushed for a little while. And I got a ball cap turned backwards, and I got the belts on. Shane's got the belts on, and we're holding Jeb Jarrett on our shoulder, and he's got the world belts on.
Well,
I swear to you, I don't remember it.
It says that it's Spring Stampede in Chicago, Illinois in April of 2000. You defeated Lex Luger and Ric Flair in a tournament final.
Wow. Yeah. See, me and Lex were totally buffed just right before that. So, you know, where did that go? I mean, they squeeze all that in pretty quick.
And you had asked if there was anybody else that held the title more times with different partners. I did see Arn Anderson has held it a bunch of times with different partners, so you guys might be neck and neck on that.
That's cool. I've always, I say, hey man, this is something I'm actually curious about. I've never heard of anybody being one, but you know, Arn is one of the best, and he's a tag team technician, so that does make a lot of sense. But I learned an awful lot from Arn Anderson, bro. Those guys is who taught me, you know, the Dangerous Alliance, the Stone Colds, the Stunning Steves back then. You know, the Stunning Steves, the Bobby Eatons, and Arn Andersons. I mean, they were just, you know, the Larry Zbyszkos that half hated my guts and half liked me, but I learned so much from them, you know, it wasn't even funny, you know. And, you know, then they ended up liking me at the end, which helped even more, and saw that I kind of survived them trying to kill me. So once I survived and showed I was kind of a tough guy, the pretty boy thing went away a little bit, and it was more, I was a good guy, you know.
Well, you mentioned Stunning Steve. Obviously, he put you over big time.
I love him. He's one of the best. He's one of the best.
And great. He said that you were a damn good worker, and he loved working with you. So that you know, that's high praise from the biggest name in the industry. But of course,
yes,
you were right on.
The line I like, I think I got it it's on my website. He goes, funny as fuck. He said, damn, I said, man, he said, Buff Bagwell can tell a story. He said, I'm telling you, man, it's the way he talks. I love him to death anyway, but he called me one time, wanting to do that podcast. Keep in mind, here I am in Dalton, Georgia, in front of 35 people, and the phone rings. I see a 310 area code. Well, when you're Buff Bagwell and you see a 310 area code, you get it. You know what 310 area code is?
Texas.
California.
California, okay.
L.A., brother. And so L.A. tells me, wait a minute, that's money, that's movies, that's who knows, so let's, okay. You're kidding me. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I got to tell something. So we're, I'm sorry, I lost track of thought there. I got it.
L.A. area codes, money.
Yeah, I got the L.A. area code, and so I answer it, Steve Austin. I said, Steve, I said, is this Steve Austin? He said, yeah. He said, I said, bro, come on, man, this ain't Steve Austin. There's no way, you know. And he goes, I swear. And he told me about shooting his father. I mean, he's shooting my father's story. He told me that story. And I was like, I said, nobody knows that story. But I really thought it was, because he really does sound like a character. You know, he really sounds like a character, you know. And so I just really thought it wasn't him until he told me that story. I mean, how many people knew the, you know, shoot my father's story. So, but that's crazy, man.
Well, you talk all about that on the new docu-shoot that you have available from your website, realbuffbagwell.com. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about that docu-shoot DVD?
Actually, the docu-shoot ended up being really not what we wanted. It ended up being kind of a little bit of a failure. We put some movies in it that we didn't get disclosed, and when we didn't get it disclosed, the person that held back it for us got really scared. When me and my buddy were doing it, we were, you know, broke, trying to put a documentary together and didn't care about getting sued or not. So, you know, we just shot for it. We shot for it, you know, let's do it. Well, I didn't know he was going to put, Scarface and Roadhouse and all these movies in there. And I was like, dude, what if? I said, well, they won't sue us. They'll just send us, cease and dismiss. I said, well, what if they don't? What if they don't, bro? Then, so I said, we can't take that chance. So we had 100 radio stations set up, everything, and we had just to completely pull the plug on it. So it's a documentary that few people got that is absolutely wonderful. But as far as being, something that we, could really go out and sell properly and really do the right thing to, we just really couldn't. The person that backed us was just too scared of getting sued.
Okay, well, so what do you have coming up then, so your fans can meet you? I know you're still recovering 9 months down the road from your shoulder surgery, but do you have any events coming up?
Yeah, no, I'm in Olney, a place called Olney, Illinois, this Saturday, and then I'm in San Antonio Sunday, and then and then next weekend, let's see here. Next weekend I'm in Maryville, Tennessee, and the next weekend I'm in Blairsville, and the next weekend I'm in Maryland. So I'm real busy.
Well, how can our listeners find out where those events are? Do you have your Facebook page?
We're getting ready to put a calendar on the website, The Real Buzz. So just check on there. We're getting ready to put a calendar back up on that.
Awesome. One last thing before you have to go. About a month ago, you filed a suit against WWE for rights to your image, your matches on the WWE Network. Can you talk about that at all?
I really can't right now. It's really though very logical. They're showing me on their network and they're not paying me. They're saying that it's not in my contract, but how many guys do you think's out there that signed a contract in that short period of time that work for WCW, work for WWF, and work for WWE? And I think I fell through the cracks there a little bit, and they just overlooked some things they just accidentally didn't mean to overlook. But it's not a vicious thing. It's just a logical thing. If you're going to show me, if I hear every week about me and Scorpio being on TV or NWO and me wrestling and I drop Scotty Riggs, then I should be compensated for that. And that's the whole point. It's that simple.
I definitely agree. I think that is very valid, and I wish you best of luck. I know we've talked with Gary Michael Capetta. We've talked with a few other people that have brought up the same issue, and you did that work. You put your body on the line. You traveled those roads. You should be compensated for it.
Absolutely.
Well, before you go, is there anything that you want to say to your fans listening out there tonight?
No, just stay in touch with me. I got my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything is Marcus Buff Bagwell. Twitter is Mark because it didn't fit, so it's Mark Buff Bagwell. But my Instagram, Facebook, everything is Marcus Buff Bagwell. And we're getting ready to switch the website over to Marcus Buff Bagwell too, but everybody will be notified of that. So that way, everything's Marcus Buff Bagwell.
Well, that makes it super easy. We really appreciate your time, sir, and best of luck with everything, and good luck